And here we are, we're coming up for the green flag, and the race is underway. The green, we're waiting for the green. They're bringing the cars up to speed. There is the green flag.
And already 4 or 5 wide at the start here, going across the start-finish line. Absolutely amazing stuff.
AJ Allmendinger on the outside there, the yellow car, the Intel car for the Rousport team. As you can see them going around the corner, the red light on the back of the car signifies those of rookie drivers.
And if it's flashing, that means a push to pass. A different rule for the push to pass this weekend. It's not RPM and boost, it's just only boost. And nobody's really sure how much speed that's actually going to give these guys.
They did practice with the push to pass yesterday in a final practice session. But as you say, Darren Manning, there's a lot of question marks this afternoon, but that was a great start from AJ Allmendinger, but now he seems to be slipping back.
Also, a great start by Alex Tagliani, very aggressive on the start there, and also already you're seeing the 2 Newman Haas cars pulling away, but Jimmy Vasser trying to breach that gap, and Tag it looks like he's got a pretty good car after the setup in warm-up.
He is, but around the outside there is Tagliani. On the outside of Alex Tagliani is Mario Dominguez, and right behind those two is Paul Tracy. Paul Tracy also making the move from 14th on the grid. Look at this, 3 wide, absolutely 3 abreast.
Got to be so careful there, Alex Tagliani on the inside. It looks like somebody's got to give way. Looks like it was Dominguez on the middle there. Tagliani and Tracy, very
smart move by Mario Dominguez, Darren Manning.
Yeah, I would probably do the same with those 2 either side of me as well.
With 160 laps to go this evening, you can't really win it on the 4th or 5th lap, or 3rd lap as it is right now, but you can certainly lose it.
Yeah, already you can see those guys just battling side by side there, just dropping a little bit behind, and already Jimmy Vasser's caught onto the back of the 2 Newman Haas cars there, and already challenging Oriel around the outside of turn 2.
Looks like he's got a bit of a good drive there to Jamie. He's on the outside. Here we are on board with Oriel Serbia, and to his right, yes, there is a nose turn of Jimmy Vasser. Can he make that pass stick on the outside line? It's a long way around, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely, but there's going to be the car's going to be a lot freer here, and you can see Oriel getting a good draft off his teammate. The guy out front, he doesn't want to be out there for too long because these cars create such a draft, and you can see Oriel just straight up the gearbox of his teammate there.
Now, we saw last year when the Champ cars ran on the Las Vegas Speedway 1.5-mile oval that we had a pit window. They had to pit every so many laps. I think it was lap 37 or whatever it was last year. This year, there's no pit lane rule, so therefore fuel management is even more crucial than before, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not really what Bourdais wants. I mean, he's got to do it because he's so fast on that inside line, but he's going to be using a hell of a lot more fuel than the guys behind him who are in his draft.
Yeah, now look at Paul Tracy. He's towed up on the back of this. Jimmy Vasser on the outside, and Paul Tracy tucks in behind him as well, and Paul is going to the outside. This is amazing. Paul really struggled in qualifying.
3 wide. Oh, they touched.
Oh, they've touched.
Oh,
they've saved it.
Yeah, that was very, very aggressive there by Paul Tracy. You know, he squeezed down. He did the same move on Tagliani and Dominguez earlier, and nearly got away with it. And now it looks like he's going to try for the lead. This is very aggressive driving by Tracy around the outside.
Sensational stuff. Bjorn Verdheim has got himself up in the top 4 or 5 as well. He started in 5th place, fell back a little bit, but has now got himself back up to 4th place, right behind this trio. There is Bjorn in the Eurosport car. Liquid Moly sponsorship on that car as well for the HVN team, and Bjorn is really moving up very, very well indeed. He's used a couple of pushes on his push-to-pass button by the looks of it. They have 60 seconds worth, as you said, Darren Manning, and what they're doing is it comes in 10-second bursts. They're flat out around here in regular driving. So what happens normally when you lift off the throttle, then the push-to-pass ceases to function. As you said, there's an extra 2 inches of boost here this evening for the Cosworth's push-to-pass, and that gives them.
Yeah, we're just getting a replay here of this is on board with Jimmy Vasser touching Tracy there.
That was scary.
3 wide. There's not much room.
Yeah, we've seen you do a couple of those moves in the past in IRL cars, Darren Manning, and that
was a good save by Jimmy. You know, there is a definite 2-groove racetrack around here. There's a lot of banking, and the downforce levels that are running, they can definitely run 2 wide, but 3 wide with Tracy on your outside, he doesn't give you much room on a normal racetrack, let alone an oval.
Now, how much of that was luck and how much of that was judgment?
Well, I think Jimmy saw that Tracy was pinching him down a little bit and decided to just back out of it, but obviously couldn't do anything because, you know, when you're up behind these cars, you're losing so much front-end grip that your car wants to wash up wide, so Tracy should have really given a little bit more room, knowing that there was 2 cars. His spotter probably shouting in his ear saying, 2 inside, 2 inside.
But when you've made the contact, yep. You're behind the wheel, you've made contact, you know you've got a problem, what do you do?
Close your eyes.
Yeah. And hang on for grim death, and that's exactly what Jimmy did. He's fallen back a couple couple of positions, but he's still in 6th place. So Paul Tracy has made the move to the front, and Cristiano D'Amato, meanwhile, has gone all the way to the back, all the way back to 15th place as a 2002 champion after starting in 4th.
Yeah, we were talking to the guys at PKV, and he wasn't very comfortable running in traffic at all. His car was washing out, and he couldn't keep it down on the white line, which he needs to do. But you're never out of this race. You know, he can probably get some front wing in the car when he makes some pit stops if his car's understeering or something. He's probably shouting at the guys in the pits to try and see if they can make any pressure changes, wing changes to help him out. But as you see, nobody's nowhere near getting lapped. Nobody's going to get away with this race for sure.
I think you're right. They're about maybe half a lap from first to last. Ricardo Sperafico and Andrew Ranger running at the back, and they're certainly losing a little bit of ground. Their last lap time was a 27.3, a 27.4. The leaders a 27.0. That's in seconds, 27.98 seconds. That is a speed of 199 miles an hour, so about 320 kilometers an hour. It's high-speed action here on this 1.5 mile track, and there's a battle there that is between Alex Tagliani and Jimmy Vasser. We're on board with Jimmy. He's running the high line here, Darren, and Alex Tagliani keeping down low in the Team Australia car.
This is what we were expecting from this race. You know, the guy on the outside just hitting a brick wall when he tries to overtake the guys around the inside. If you've got a good car, you just hold it down on that white line. Even if Bourdais here has got a faster car than Tracy, he just needs to keep it on that white line and make Bourdais go hit that brick wall when he gets on his outside and try and go the long way around. And you've seen battles like this all the way down the field. Mario Dominguez and Rodolfo Lavín doing exactly the same side by side. You can't do it too much because you're going to lose the toe from the guys in front.
So there we are, 14 laps down now. Paul Tracy's still out front, the car number 3, the in-deck car of Forsyth Racing, and the team is telling him 27 laps until he has to make a pit stop, so around about 40 or lap 41 before the first round of pit stops, we believe. But right now, it's Tracy out in front, followed by Bourdais and Servia, and then Wertheim in 4th. Back on board again with the now 3rd place car of Oriol Servia. Last time out, as we've said, in Montreal just 3 weeks ago, in his 95th Champ Car start, finally that long overdue maiden victory. And boy, that was such a popular victory, Darren Manning.
Absolutely. You know, everybody loves Oriol. You know, he's a very good friend of all the drivers here, and throughout racing in America, really, he's created a really good name for himself, and a lot of us were very pleased to see him get this good ride, even though it was you know, a little bit of unfortune for Bruno as well. So, but everybody's very pleased for him to get that first win for sure.
A note here from the pit lane. Bourdais says his car is loose, and he's calling for a little bit of turn on the left front wing when he comes in to make his first pit stop, Darren Manning.
Yeah, a little bit. Probably going to take out some front wing if he's a little loose. Try and stop that crossweight on that left-hand side. So they probably don't want to do both front wings. Very sensitive at these high speeds, so they probably don't need to do too much. But they don't want to spend too long in the pit stops anyway.
Paul Tracy, he's saying his car is a little bit loose, even though it's running out in front, and he is trying on board. He's softening the rear roll bar. They have an adjustable roll bar inside the cockpit of these cars. They can change either end of the car to just affect that handling balance a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Also with the weight jacker, you'll see sometimes them pressing buttons, which could be a radio, could be a drinks bottle, but also there's a little weight jacker, which is putting a little bit more weight or less weight on the left front wheel, which will more weight on that left front will give more front end grip, less weight on that front left is going to give more rear end grip.
Yeah, of course, the fuel tank to these cars are between the engine and the driver, so it's fairly centrally located, but as that fuel load burns down, it does alter the weight balance of the car, and at these speeds it also alters the handling balance.
Especially now we're getting a lot of reports from guys like Amata needing big changes and things, and obviously now at 33 laps gone, we're 33, 34 laps gone, the cars are getting very, very light on fuel load, and some of the handling's probably going to change absolutely hugely. I see the three leaders have pulled away quite a lot from Bjorn and Tagliani and Vasser.
I need a big change, says the little man, shorty Cristiano D'Amato, struggling way back in 15th place.
He's the next guy that's going to get gobbled up by the leaders. He's only a few seconds in front of Tracy and Bourdais. So hopefully he's going to get into the pits to make that big change that he wants before he goes a lap down.
So 35 laps down now. We're expecting pit stops in probably 5 or 6 laps for the leaders. And I would be surprised certainly if Paul Tracy was not among the first of the guys to pit, because he has been out in front and he's been the guy who's been carving through the air first of all. The guys behind sitting in his slipstream. And are you able to lift off a little bit in that slipstream?
Watching on the onboard camera there and listening to the throttle movement of Bourdais and Servia with the onboard cameras there. They've definitely been lifting off the throttle in the corners, and because Tracy's been pushing that hole in the air for those guys to go through. So expect Bourdais and Oriol to go a few more laps than Tracy.
They're really
if
interesting.
It stays green, of course.
If it stays green, there you go. That's the key, of course. You want to try and make a pit stop under yellow if you possibly can, because if you make a pit stop under green flag conditions here, there's a 2-stage pit limiter in use here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 85 miles an hour around the apron. They're down to 50 miles an hour down the pit lane, but you're going to lose certainly 1 lap and probably 2 laps.
Absolutely,
making a green flag pit stop.
Laps, I would say, yeah, for sure.
There you go. So if you can make a pit stop under green, you'll have to do so. But Bourdais reports his front shock cover is coming loose, so that'll be a bit disconcerting.
Yeah, when he's really close underneath the rear wing of another car, let's say obviously Tracy, that he's getting a big draft, a big suction, a huge vacuum, which he's sucking, which is not what the bodywork's meant to be doing. We saw it with Justin Wilson in San Jose actually, when he went past one of the air dryers, he actually blew that front shock cover off.
2 laps we're hearing until Sebastian Bourdais will be on pit lane. There is Rodolfo Lavigne doing an excellent job this weekend. He's been right up at the front all weekend long. As I said, he crashed in the final practice yesterday night after qualifying. He was the air was taken off the car. I guess it was Paul Tracy that went past him and kind of took the air off the car. They just made a change to Rodolfo Lavigne's car to free it up a little bit more, get a bit more straight line speed, and it kind of took him by surprise. Yes, there is Paul Tracy coming onto pit lane. Here is now the battle for lead. Oriol Servia
has done it, yeah.
He's made a move around the outside.
Save some fuel, maybe a bit of pit strategy. Oh, his Bourdais' shock cover's just come off. There'll probably be a yellow flag now for some debris, so this actually might fall into Paul Tracy's hands.
Depends when he comes out. If he waits any longer, then it'll be bad news for Paul Tracy, because he'll probably lose 2 laps. And the officials are watching out to see where that shock cover landed and whether it is in a safe location.
This is going to be very interesting as we see Bourdais coming into the pits without his shock cover, and a lot of other guys. The 4-side cars are both in the pits.
Oriol stays out. There is Mario Dominguez making his first pit stop of the day. Looks like a routine service there. There is a tweak though. It looks like 3 turns.
Absolutely, yeah. He was probably struggling in the traffic to try and keep his front end gripping.
There's Sebastian Bourdais trying to get into his pit.
That's probably cost him some speed coming down the pit lane there. As we look at his front shock cover.
He's not very happy, is he? Look at that. Frustration for Sebastian Bourdais.
Wait a minute now. We're just finishing the fuel.
Can you see where
it can actually run like that? There's going to be absolutely no problem. It's going to affect the aerodynamics a little bit. He's maybe going to be a little bit slow, a little bit more drag.
A little bit more bite on the front of the car.
I'm not too sure. It's just probably going to mess up the whole of the aerodynamics.
See that flashy light there? That shows that the slow flashing light means that the pit lane speed limiter is on as he comes out of the pit. You can see the exhaust vent. Oriol Servia, the racing is into the pits.
As it's hard on the gas there, you can see the flames coming out of both exhausts. The wastegate's there, dumps the clutch, spins the wheels, and away he goes.
Spectacular stuff there, is it?
Especially at night time. Absolutely, yeah.
A big crowd on hand here at this Las Vegas
As we see Paul Tracy still out in lead from Bourdais, so even though Bourdais was able to go another lap, he ended up still coming out behind Tracy.
Resulting of that being held up going into his own pit.
By Tracy.
Ironically.
And there's Oriol coming out on the back straight away. See where he comes out with regards to the leaders. Up to speed through the gears as another car comes into the pits. And the leaders are just passing him now. Here's you see a replay. Bourdais underneath the rear wing of his teammate.
Watch the shock cover. Right below the F&I and C of Pacific Air. Whoa, there it goes.
I mean, if that stayed on the track, I'm surprised that the officials didn't throw a yellow flag. So maybe it came off and into the grandstands for some souvenir for a spectator.
Yeah, really, a great souvenir. As you can see, the grandstands, they keep the bottom sort of 10 rows or so clear, just in case of that sort of thing. There is Craig Hampson, who is a race engineer for Sebastian Bourdais. I was talking to Craig earlier on, and he was saying, it's amazing amazing how much effort goes into this one race. There's only one super speedway race on the Champ Car World Series schedule this year, and he was saying that it's the amount of effort that goes into this one race is really disproportionate to the amount of effort that goes in over the season.
This is a real
man is running well. It's Paul Tracy in the lead, Sebastian Bourdais in second. 44 laps completed here in Las Vegas out of 166. That Darren Manning, about the different rubber of these cars. The Craftsman Truck Series was running here. They run on the Goodyear tires, and of course the Bridgestone's here for the Champ cars. And how much does it affect the cars when there is different rubber laid down on a racetrack?
Absolutely hugely. These guys won't have really known what the cars were going to handle like in the first part of this race until they got a nice layer of Bridgestone rubber down, and we've seen a lot of changes being made in that first pit stop, and a lot of different complaints already now. So around now, this is probably when the track's probably going to start getting better and better, and a wider racing line is coming about, as we see Tracy taking a totally different line. He's actually moving up the track a lot more now.
Yeah, that's interesting. And just opening the door a little bit to Sebastian Bourdais, just giving a little bit of a tease and using up a lot of room there, coming off the fourth turn that time. There is Cristiano de Manor again now right in front of them, about to go 2 laps down is Cristiano in 14th place, and what an ignominious evening it's been for Cristiano. He came into here with very high hopes. He qualified in 4th place, and he's just struggling more and more as the evening goes along.
Yeah, he's still complaining of a way loose car, and as you see him give way there to Tracy, not happy with this super speedway package at all.
And that's a horrible feeling for a race driver. That car is loose at these speeds, and you have no confidence in the car.
No, you can't do anything. If you lift off, it actually makes the car even worse. So you just end up just nursing it round and round, and just hoping you stay as close to the lead as you possibly can.
Sebastian Bourdais lost a little bit of ground to Paul Tracy that time, and meanwhile his engineer Craig Hampson has been talking to Sebastian on the radio saying, how is the car? And Sebastian's response was, don't know. I think that means he's a bit busy right now, does it?
I think so, especially with Tracy moving around the track. They were just going through a little bit of back markers as we run on board with Oriol Servia here, and the leaders, the 3 leaders, they're spacing out a bit. As I was saying, the track conditions are changing a little bit now. Their cars were obviously very good at the beginning of the race. They maybe like the Goodyear rubber, and now that the track's changing, getting a lot more of their rubber down. Things looks like Tracy's pulling away a little bit.
He is. He's passing Ryan Hunter-Reay. So Ryan Hunter-Reay is the next guy to go 1 lap down. The Cybermax car of car number 31, the Rocket Sports entry of Ryan Hunter-Reay, been running fairly well, but he finally does go that 1 lap down. He's running in 11th place is Ryan Hunter-Reay. So after 74 laps, we've got Tracy Bourdais and Servia out in front, a gap of about 6.5 seconds, a little bit more to Jimmy Vasser, then a bit of a gap of about 5 seconds back to Alex Tagliani, then the Mario Dominguez, and a big battle behind Mario, going with AJ Allmendinger, Timo Glock, Bjorn Verdheim and Rodolfo Lavin trying to hang on there in 10th place, and Rodolfo now is the final unlapped runner after 75 laps. He's on board with Jimmy Vasser again. Let's just listen to Jimmy Vasser.
You can see Jimmy actually shifting gears there. That's very unusual, because these cars haven't got the electronics to shift without lifting. He's having to come out of the gas or slightly dip the clutch as he's passing his poor teammate there, Cristiano. They were having a great weekend qualifying 3rd and 4th, talking with both of them. They seem pretty happy. The cars are getting better and better. As we run on board with Jimmy in his helmet here, see if he shifts up down the back straight with a bit of a tailwind.
Well, that's the key. I was just going to mention that, because I was talking to Craig Hampson, the race engineer for Sebastian Bourdais this morning, and there's been a pretty hefty wind here all weekend long, and that wind is affecting the cars down the back straight. It's a tailwind on the back straight.
You can see him shifting to 6th gear down the pit straight here. He's maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. You can see his rev lights actually on the dashboard there. He's gone down to 2 lights on the left of the number 6 there, as he goes down to 1 in the corners. So 6th gear is probably using less RPM, and then also saving that little bit of fuel, which might be crucial. He's all the lights on there down the back straight. He's obviously a fairly strong tailwind. And also when you're in a draft, you're picking up RPM as well, which is probably why we were seeing earlier. He was probably in 6th gear, and underneath the rear wing of Tagliani, he was probably running out of RPM, and also, which is probably slowing him down and stopping him from overtaking.
Just saying that Craig Hampson, the engineer, was telling me, because of that wind, it really does affect the speed of these cars, and on the back straightaway with the tailwind, they're quite a bit quicker, a couple of miles an hour quicker down the back straight than around the front section here, and that really does mess up the gearing because these Cosworth engines are very susceptible. They've got to be in the right rev range to get the right balance of acceleration, not as much acceleration 200 miles an hour, but maintaining that momentum and getting off that optimal boost level.
Absolutely. As soon as you go into the corner, the car's scrubbing speed and scrubbing RPM, so you ideally want to be changing down the gear.
But if you are changing, as you're saying, you're lifting, so that messes everything. As soon as you lift here at all, you lose valuable momentum.
Yeah, in the IRL, there's you can absolutely stay on full throttle and change down. They've got their regulations so that you can do that, but Champ Car's a little bit more driver orientated, so Jimmy's probably trying to shift up and down, trying to get used to it for maybe trying to overtake some of these other guys.
Indeed so. So we're getting now again close to the second round of pit stops. The first round, they came in from the first guys who pitted on lap 40. That would have been Paul Tracy amongst him. Also Alex Tagliani and Mario Dominguez came in on lap 40. Bourdais came in on 41. Servia on 42. So we're getting very close now. Another couple of laps, I think, to the second round of pit stops.
A little less battling going on now, so they might go an extra lap or two.
Well, I'm sure they'd want to, because we've got 81 laps in the books, 166 lap race. So at this stage, they probably need to get another lap or two to get to the end on just 3 pit stops.
Yeah, talking to the guys, we see one of the Rocket Sport cars coming into the pits, and also
it's Timo Glock out of 10th place.
Looks like Tracy as well coming down the pits.
So again, Paul Tracy is the first of the leaders to pull onto pit lane. Again, just lap 82. So each time he's done 40 laps on the first hit, 41 on the second. That's going to leave him a couple of laps short.
No, he's obviously very happy with his car. He's running pretty quick pace.
They wait every last drop of fuel into that car, Darren.
Especially on a race like this, where it's going to be very, very touch and go with strategy. And I was talking to some of the guys. They were saying it's going to probably be a 4-stop race with lots of windows. But if they get some yellow, they need to get a lot of yellow flags to make it a 3-stop.
They're only going to need a couple of laps, because we've got 83 laps done now. So we're exactly halfway through the race out of 166. So the guys have not yet pitted. Easily now should be able to reach the finish on just one more pit stop. Here is Sebastian Bourdais. He's reached that threshold and he's looking good. He's lap 84. He's coming onto pit lane, and again his teammate Oriol Servia saving a little bit more fuel and staying out there.
Running in 3rd place, he's saving a lot more fuel. We could see him before lifting off the gas a little bit, trying to go those extra couple laps to make sure that he could run maybe a little lighter in that last stop.
There you go, absolutely crucial. A little bit less fuel will take less time.
See if Bourdais gets any front wing here. He was very, very loose. Yeah, take a half a turn out of each side. That was pretty good. That'll be pretty significant change.
Tom Phillips leads that Newman Haas crew, the car number 1 on the pit lane.
That was a 10.9 pit stop. Tracy was a 10.3, so a little bit quicker for the Forsyth crew. That's probably that front wing change, as we see Servia braking off the back straight. Very difficult to try and slow the car down off the banking onto the flat apron, and also with the setup of the car as well.
As we saw last year with Ryan Hunter-Ray losing it, and that's part of the racetrack. There's the 85-mile-an-hour stage limiter they're on right now, and you hear him come down to 50 right there.
Your marks, open approaches to your box. Forward tires, we're going to fill it up.
Yeah, the communications there with the engineer saying he's going to take 4 tires and clean it up. Hit your marks.
Absolutely crucial to hit your marks, Darren Manning.
That's what he's saying with that board in the centre there. That's giving the driver a centre line for where to put the nose of the car.
Get ready, hold it. Go.
That was very, very close there. As a driver, you're listening to every inclination in the engineer's voice, and he had a little stutter there, and Oriol nearly went. I saw that.
Boy, you can see again that slow flash on the red light at the back of the car that indicates that the pit lane speed limiter has been activated. And away goes Oriol Servia. So again, a good stop, and you can see it's status quo at the front of the field. Paul Tracy out in front, and Servia has cycled through. Bjorn Wertheim also came onto pit lane last time around. So I think now everybody, I believe, has made their second pit stop of the day.
Yeah, Bjorn was last to pit there. As we see, still Tracy out in front.
Marshall actually, he also was the last guy to come in. He's now pulling onto the pit lane right in front of his Marcus. So he was praying for a yellow for a lap or two of that. It didn't come.
Yeah, that's what you want to stay out for as long as possible, because if you can...
there's all sorts of advantages, aren't there?
Absolutely. You can catch a yellow, you can...
So there we are on board with Oriol Servia. He's again running in 3rd place. So it's still Paul Tracy out in front. He's lost quite a bit of ground during that round of pit stops. And Tracy and Bourdais still out in front. There is the battle for the lead here in Las Vegas. The Hurricane Relief 400, benefiting the Red Cross Hurricane Relief Fund. That's a very worthy cause. Our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to everybody in that Louisiana, Texas region, as a second hurricane in about a month has hit that area. There's a lot of damage down there, so there's a lot of good being done by the motor racing community to try and give something back to the world at large, and it's good to see. Certainly there's a big crowd on hand here this evening. There's been the double down in the desert here in Las Vegas with the Craftsman trucks running a couple of hours before, earlier, and the battle for the lead now is sees Paul Tracy still out in front. He's led most of the evening, 76 laps led so far for PT, and he's going to go past Cristiano Damada one more time. That'll be the third time that Cristiano has been lapped this evening, and boy, that has got to be so frustrating.
Yeah,
he came in here with such high hopes, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying fourth place, they obviously had a fast car in qualifying, and Jimmy's doing a very good job in fourth place as well, so the PKV crew are doing a great job, but he's just not happy with his car, and there's nothing you can do on an oval. You can't drive around it.
It was the same sort of thing in Milwaukee.
Yes,
They both qualified well there. Jimmy was on the pole, Cristiano was in the top 5. Jimmy's car went away a little bit in the race, but he was still able to maintain a top 4 or 5 running there, but Cristiano fell back right away.
Yeah, you see, it's very important to get the setups you use in qualifying on an oval are so different to the race setups, because you've got so much more weight on the fuel load's going off, the tyres are going off for that full 40 laps, and you're running a different line, you've got your grips going down, you're probably running a little bit more downforce, you're running in traffic, you're losing aerodynamic grip from running underneath the rear wing, as we see Bourdais doing that here. His car needs to be handling so well to run that close underneath the rear wing of Tracy, and obviously Cristiano didn't really work on that too well.
So fastest lap there for Paul Tracy. It's interesting, running out in front there, so that's the fastest lap of the race they were saying there. I don't think that's actually quite right. It's Oriol Servi who's shown as the fastest lap so far, 26.749 to Paul Tracy 26.822. So I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but Oriol Servi is shown as the fastest lap at the moment. That is worth 1 bonus championship point as well. But just back a moment, we're not watching right now, but Cristiano Damada, it's been several years since he's been raced on an oval. Of course, he's been in Formula 1 with the Toyota team for a couple of years, but he does have 3 oval wins to his credit. His first win in the Champ Cars came at Chicago in 2000. He also won there in 2002. He won also on the Super Speedway at Fontana in 01. So he's got plenty of experience on this sort of tracks, Darren. Similar
kind of speedways to what we've got here at the Big D Oval at Las Vegas. This aerodynamic spec is very different to what these cars have been running in before. A lot of downforce running on these cars now. So it's quite different to what he's done before. As we see Tracy holding on to that inside line as Bourdais tries to go around the outside. You see that brick wall that these cars are punching through the air. It's going to be very difficult for Bourdais to go around.
Certainly interesting that Bourdais is trying to make that move at this stage in the race. It's a long way to go. 97 laps completed now, so 69 laps to go. And again, this time, as they go around into turn 2 and 3 one more time, turn 1 and 2, I should say, absolutely neck and neck going down the Nellis straightaway down the backside towards turn 3. And this time
to back off there and save some fuel. I'm sure his team are telling him just stay behind him, stay behind him. I'm sure that was a little bit of a ploy by Sebastian to just see what his car would do and see if he could actually cross that start-finish line, even if he's still alongside him. If he's got his nose an inch in front of Tracy at the start-finish line, he's won the race. So just seeing what his car handles like, and you get a little bit more speed coming off the corner on that high line. So down the straights you actually will pull ahead, but going around the corners you scrub a little more speed going the longer distance. And
of course we talked about it earlier on, not lately, but they have this push-to-pass function, and for 10 seconds it'll give you an extra 2 inches of boost. They're running at 39.5 inches of manifold boost pressure here, and most of the guys so far in the race have used none of it. Certainly 3 of the top 4 have used none of their push to pass so far. Paul Tracy has used it once.
I'm sure that was at the beginning where we saw him going through the field.
Indeed, but interesting, at least he now knows. He has a feel for exactly what that will do when he's running in traffic. And the other guys, they're not really too sure. They did use it, they were able to practice a little bit with it last night, but they're only allowed 2 push to pass attempts last night during practice. Generally, on a race meeting, they don't use the push-to-pass at all until they begin the race. But because it's a completely different function this evening, with just the boost rather than the extra RPMs as well, then they thought they'd better give him a bit of a tryout last night.
It'll be interesting to see what teams actually put a long enough sixth gear in the car to see how many more to get a little bit extra speed out of the car, and I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of these guys saving 30 seconds for that last lap. So they can have a full extra boost the whole way around.
Yeah, for the last 2 laps, I think they'll use that. We've got 26-second laps here, so they'll use it the last 2.5 laps or so.
Yeah, it'll be a very fast couple of laps at the end there.
I think we should have said the reason they're not using the extra RPMs this evening as they usually do is because when they give them the extra RPM, they get a real shot forward, and if you're following somebody in that instance and then the RPMs suddenly drop off, it would be like the car stopping in front of you.
Absolutely, and very dangerous.
Safety reason, good, smart move by the Cosworth engineers.
Absolutely.
To figure that out in advance.
As we see, Tracy actually gave Bourdais a little bit of room going into turn 1 there, and gave Oriel a little bit of chance to catch back up in traffic.
There is Jimmy Vasso now running pretty much on his own in 4th place, about 10 seconds behind the leader. But look, we can see as they come past us, we're not looking at the moment, but Oriel Servia has closed down that gap to the first 2. Here we are. This is on board with AJ Allmendinger now, who's moved himself up to 5th place, and that's a heck of an effort. I spoke to AJ less than an hour before the start of the race, and he said, I'm frightened to death out there in this car. I've never driven anything so dangerous. He said, don't be surprised if I come in and park it after 15 laps. That's how unconfident he was going into the race.
He's obviously pretty happy with his car now. He's got one of the fastest cars out there, to be honest. He's running.
He has got the fastest lap. He's got the fastest lap of the race. So AJ Allmendinger is absolutely flying. 202 miles an hour. He has a P1 in terms of fastest lap. That is worth a championship point. Number 8, Timo Glock is being watched down the back straight for the line he's been taking. There's some talk that maybe he was perhaps using a defensive line. He's got Rodolfo Lavigne directly behind him. There's a big battle there between Glock and Lavigne for 8th place. Timo Glock is the best place of the rookies this evening. He's in 8th. Bjorn Wertheim is in 10th, and then Marcus Marshall in 12th. But is that Marcus actually?
This is Dominguez and Tagliani battling here for 6th and 7th place. Dominguez, they were both on the push to pass there, and Dominguez needing it to try and get around the outside, but he's hit that brick wall.
You see that rapid flash on the rear light there. That shows that they are using
it's
the
gone
push
out
to
now.
pass.
10 seconds doesn't last very long around the super speedway. It wasn't enough to push him past. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I was talking to several drivers earlier on this afternoon. They were saying you really need 2 pushes to pass to actually complete the pass. The first one to get you alongside, and then the second one to complete the pass. So again, it's another part of the strategy that they had to use, and again we've seen that most of the drivers are waiting to use that push to pass until the very end of the race. And I was talking with Tony Cotman, the race director, this morning, and he was saying he bet me that only 4 guys would have had the patience not to use it before the final couple of laps.
So tempting round here. You think you need it, your foot's absolutely pinned to the floor. These guys aren't lifting at all around this track. Just 100% gas all the way around, apart from when you're in the back, you don't want to pass a guy, but when they're racing like Dominguez and Tagliani here, who's actually made the move around the outside, they're absolutely pinned to the guy, and all you think is you want more power. So you've got that push to pass button, and it's very tempting, I'm sure, to get on it.
So Bourdais is complaining the car is still loose. He wants a little bit less front wing once again on that car. It will be his 3rd and probably final pit stop. We're on board again. This is again with AJ Allmendinger running in 5th place. He has, at the moment, set the fastest lap of the race. And again, a remarkable turnaround by the Rousport team, at least for this young man. His teammate Justin Wilson is struggling. He's back in 11th place right now, and AJ is up in 5th. AJ on the lead lap, the top. Where's the last cars on the lead lap? I think it's Bjorn Wertheim there in 10th place, but he's in grave danger.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got a lap down now. Yes, he's in that pack. His car was very quick at the beginning of the race. As you see, Tracy coming up on the outside of him, and I'm sure Bjorn with that car, he maybe just lost out a little bit on a slow pit stop, I believe, because he was running in a very, very strong 4th place. He's making Tagliani, so...
He's making Tracy go around the outside of him, and Tracy has done that. We can see we're on board here with Oriel Servia. This is Bjorn Wertheim's car that we're about to pass. There is Bjorn on the inside, so it is can see the first three now back running in nose-to-tail formation. So Serbia has made up that gap without using his push to pass.
Yeah, no, that was for sure Serbia, Bordet and Tracy running side by side, creating an even bigger hole in the air for Serbia to catch from a lot further back. And
he was 2.5 seconds back after that last round of pit stops down, Manning. He's made it all up. That's a lot of ground here.
Absolutely. Well, these cars are creating a big draft, and he's probably using the back markers as well, as Tracy shows a little bit of a gap on the inside there going into turn one, but Bordet doesn't risk too much. You know, he's still got a long way to go. And
the two cars in front of there is Rodolfo Lavin and Timo Glock, the DHL Global Mail car of Timo Glock, the best place of the rookies in 9th, and Rodolfo Lavin just ahead of him. So there's a big battle there going on for 8th and 9th places.
Especially now the leaders are coming up to put them a lap down. They won't want to give up any inch of the track, as we see Timo going really wide, trying to stay out of the rear wing of his counterpart.
He's already had a bit of a warning already from race controllers, Timo Glock, for moving around on that back straightaway.
Serbia looks like he's trying to go around his teammate. He's very, very competitive. All weekend he's been battling with Bordet for fastest lap time honours throughout every session. He was very disappointed that Bordet pipped him in qualifying by like 0.004 of a second or something. He was very, very close. So he wants to beat Bordet as much as anybody.
Yeah, 0.007 of a second. What that's that's a couple of inches.
I was up by the TV with him, stood with him, and he was thumping the air when Bordet went past and just pipped him.
Yeah, he got the upper hand for the first time in his champ car career 3 weeks ago in Montreal. It had been 8 long years since he stepped in the victory lane.
This is very, very tricky time now for Tracy, as we see Timo running really wide.
Oh dear, that was close going around turn 2. I got a glimpse of it from the onboard of Oriol Serbia, just a couple of cars ahead of him.
Tracy won't be very happy with that.
He was pushed pretty high coming off turn 2, wasn't he? Timo Glock has lost that lap.
He's been warned already, by the officials for weaving a little bit, and he's trying to race with Rodolfo, and the leaders, they've got to put up with that, unfortunately. Rodolfo should be a little bit easier to get round. He's pretty experienced on these ovals. He's pretty fast and very calm, and you see he's holding his line for Tracy to go the long way round.
Lavin had an excellent run here 1 year ago, driving for the Forsyth team in a Corona car. He finished 4th here 1 year ago, and an excellent run all night long, and he was being quick all weekend.
He's giving the inside lane to his ex-teammate. They've got a very good relationship to these two. Rodolfo's a very likeable guy, very fair on the track.
Yeah, he was only unlucky. He crashed that car last night. They switched to the backup car. This particular chassis set up in the Corona colours. They were hoping to leave this car to run until they went to Mexico City for the season finale in the first weekend of November. But because of the shunt last night,
Timo Glock there again pushing up Bordet. That was very, very naughty by Timo.
Yeah. And he's that was awfully close again going into turn 2. We're on board here. We've got in the catbird seat. We're sitting on board with Oriol Serbia, and the spotters there. The spotter for Timo Glock is Tony Gentilose. He's in the sun.
Over the place.
Yeah, he is all over the place.
And that's very, very dangerous as well, because he's not only taking the air off the front of Oriol's car here. And I think that was the team just telling Oriol to use the push to pass to get around Timo as soon as possible.
Yeah, but Bordet actually used it, so he has used 10 seconds worth on that push to pass as well. I'm sure Oriol's going to try not to, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, because he's in a great position here in 3rd place. He's saving probably the most fuel of anybody.
Yep. And again, here's a replay. We'll watch the 2 cars in front of Oriol. Watch this.
Oh, Bordet way up in the dirt there. You saw the sand from when nobody's normally been running. That's how high up the track Bordet was.
Using the push to pass. See that rapid flash from Bordet's car. That indicates that he is using the push to pass. The solid light on Timo Glock's side. That just indicates he's a rookie.
Yeah. And not using the push to pass as well. So it was actually enough to get round Timo. So that was quite interesting. Yeah, that was pretty naughty.
He's moving around an awful lot. I'm sure there's going to be... We haven't heard of any more warnings to the car number 8 from race control, but Timo Glock is going to have to watch his P's and Q's here in Las Vegas with 121 laps down. Race leaders. So who are in 123 laps down now in Las Vegas in the Hurricane Relief 400.
Oh,
there's a big spin!
That looks like Tracy to me.
Jeepers.
Now, I don't know whether that was back marker traffic there. Yeah, that's the blue helmet of Paul Tracy.
And they was just shy of his third and final pit
You
stop.
okay there, buddy?
That's Neil Mickelride on the radio.
Yeah, that fucking hurt.
Oh.
I think that was yeah, a painful.
Well, are you hurt?
Let's listen.
No, I don't think so.
That's
Good to
always
hear
good
from
news,
PT.
absolutely.
Okay.
He looked like he screwed
What
up a
happened?
lot
Just
of
lose it or what? No, fucking Sebastian hit me.
Sebastian hit me.
Wow.
That's interesting, isn't it? They were battling for the lead. We'll try and get a view of that.
But they're going through all the debris there.
Boy.
They were
These
running
these two have been
very
battling
close.
for the championship, and Paul
That was,
Tracy...
looked like it was on the back straight. It was
Right.
going into turn 3 there. Here comes the
There's a
replay.
replay. Look at
Bourdais
this.
going up the inside. Tracy kind of closing him down a little bit. They were
He hit
were
him.
both below the white line, though. That was serious
bizarre,
stuff.
wasn't it? Yeah. That was I want another look at that one to see exactly where they were, but there's no doubt that Bourdais hit the back of Paul Tracy's car, Darren Manning, and at that speed, at that point in a racetrack, boy.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was enough room for Bourdais to be going through, but
No.
you know, there definitely was room for down the white line, but
I'd love to see the on-board view from Oriol Servia, who was pretty tucked in behind those two. You can see the damage, a black mark on the nose cone, the real front, you know, the extreme front of the nose on Bourdais' car.
Yeah.
And
looks like there's no damage for him, but just a little nudge at these speeds is all you need to lose control.
I wonder what the stewards are going to do about that, because you know, clearly there was contact between those two, and we're going to have another replay. Here we are on board with Oriol Servia. Let's see what we can see.
Just watch that white line on the far left of the screen. You can see all the cars moving down. Yeah, the ones with the lights there.
Yeah, unfortunately, he'd lost out in that, you know, that sequence of lapping that traffic at Oriol Servia. So he was far enough back that we didn't see too clearly that incident from those two. That's certainly a shame, because, well, the whole thing's a shame, because it was shaping up to a really, really exciting race. And Paul Tracy, he's lost a lot of ground. He came into this weekend, what, fully 65 points behind in the battle for the championship. And actually, Paul Tracy, we believe, was about to make. I said he was about due for a pit stop, and we hear he was actually pulling down to come onto pit lane. This is the cars coming off turn 2, Darren Manning.
Yeah, they're very, very high on the track, and you know, you watch Tracy. He'll come down to the white line as if he was actually going to pit and drop wheels below the white line, but maybe Bourdais spotted, didn't know. Bourdais got a run on him there. There is room. Not anymore. Very, very close.
Now, there's not much that PT can do with that. I mean, he's down below the white line, but so
does
also...
look like he's pitting, and maybe he was braking and slowing down, so...
Yeah, that's a tough call, isn't it? What can you do in that instance? You can't put your hand up in these cars. You put your hand up at 200 miles an hour, it gets blown off.
I mean, you know, the guys know that it's been, you know, they've got the same information in front of them that we have here, and we knew that they were very, very close to pitting. And, you know, they've got, you know, Tracy had 40 laps under his belt on that tank, and
Paul walking to the ambulance.
You know, and that's where the pit lane entry is. So maybe, you know, Bourdais should have been on the outside of him and maybe given him a bit more room.
It looked like the contact was below that yellow line. Here is the pits are.
As we watch Bourdais, see if they make. They'll be checking the front wing.
Coming on pit lane.
The guys that are a lap down, they'll probably be trying to get a lap back.
AJ wasn't a lap down, was he? Oh well, I'll tell you what. Oh well, this is interesting, isn't it? You're making a pit stop now. There's 40 laps to go. You should be able to get to the end from here.
Yep.
I don't understand why everybody would be pitting at this stage. Because Bourdais has made his pit stop. He's good to go now for the end of the night. He's got just 127. That's 39 laps to go at the end. So he certainly should be able to get to the end from here. And
all looked good on Bourdais' car. They had a quick check.
Yes, they had a look at that car, but I'm surprised certainly that the other guys didn't come in and take advantage of the first part of the yellow coming to make their stop. There's now a whole bunch of other guys are laid out on pit lane, including Allmendinger.
They're all coming in to make their pit stop now. I think lap down cars, they're all coming through.
Well, yeah, but also several guys that were on the lead lap as well, Darren. So curious strategy. Again, there's that nose cone of Sebastian Bourdais' car. You can clearly see the rubber marks from Paul Tracy. And again, back to that incident, the contact was made below the white line, Darren Manning. But when Sebastian is tucked right in behind him, can he see where that white line is?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a little bit of a visual in front of you, especially with the banking going round in front of you. And You know, as we
But what do you focus on? I mean, you focus presumably on the tail lights of the car in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching him slow down as we see AJ probably running out of fuel.
What a disaster. What a disaster for AJ Allmendinger. He's just...
it was 41 laps since he last pitted.
He's run out of fuel. He has been
yeah,
confirmed from the radio, and look at that, the frustration. You know, as I said, I was talking to him less than an hour before the start, and he's still very mindful of those string of incidents earlier in the middle part of the season, starting in Toronto, then in Edmonton, and also in San Jose. 3 consecutive mistakes that cost AJ Allmendinger probably about 85 championship points, I reckoned, and he's still very mindful of that. He's come back strongly, had some good results in the last few races, but with the car being so nervous that this weekend, he was very jittery. He just wanted to bring that car home this evening. So to have the car running so well now, get up among the top 5, and now for this to happen, boy, what must be going through his mind, Darren?
Yeah, he was obviously very frustrated throwing his wheel. As we see the guys getting a pass around, the guys that didn't pit, they'll be passed around to the back of the field, and I'm sure they'll be pitting then. So these guys have all got their lap back by staying out there and pitting at the tail end here as they collect the leader, who is still Sebastien Bourdais. So he gets to go up behind the back of the pace car. All those guys that didn't pit, they'll be able to come into the pits now, get topped up. So poor AJ, that was just one lap too soon.
Yeah, a mistake for the crew not to call him in. He was still on the lead lap.
I'm sure they had to. I mean, if he wasn't a lap down, then that's a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely on the same lap as the leader. I'm pretty sure he was on the same lap as the leaders, and they for whatever reason they missed to call him in. There's a bunch of reasons why you could miss that radio call.
Yeah.
One of them being you could be told, do you want me to pit? Do you want me to pit? And they're trying to tell you yes, but they don't have the opportunity.
Well, obviously Paul was coming into the pits, but Sebastian doesn't know that. And when Paul backed off to come into the pits, I mean, you're going 200, 201 miles an hour, and, you know, we hit him in the back. And I feel badly about that, but in the drivers' meeting, they were very explicit how a driver had to indicate that it was his intention to pit. He has to get to the inside and start slowing down. And I think Tracy was planning to get into the pits as fast as he could, and we didn't know it was happening. So, again, I'm really sorry about it. Definitely, I wanted to race him at the end. I really would have preferred that. And I think we're pretty lucky that it looks like our car isn't more badly damaged. I'll have to say, though, I've seen Paul Tracy with a big black mark on the nose of his car plenty of times.
Thank you, Craig. Let's get to Chris McClure.
Neil Mickelwright didn't hear any of that, but they say down there, Paul checked up. He was coming into the pits. We do know that. And Sebastian whacked him from the back, and he just didn't know he was going to lift. Are you buying that?
No, I'm not buying it. I mean, you know, it's up to the guy behind to, you know, to do the passing. I mean, if you can't come into the pit lane without being hit by the guy behind you, well, then obviously there's a problem. He's too close or whatever. I mean, clearly, any time that we have a problem with Bourdais, I mean, it's always our fault. I mean, God bless him. He can't, you know, he's perfect. He can't do anything wrong. But, you know, we led all night. He went by us a couple of times. We went by him. You know, we had a car that was just as quick as his, and he ran into the back of us. I mean, you can paint it any which way you like, but he ran into the back of us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Thanks, Chris McClure there in the pits, and Jon Beek is talking with Craig Hampson, the race engineer, first of all, for Sebastien Bourdais. And that was Chris McClure talking with the Vice President of Operations for Forsyth Racing, Neil Mickelwright, and two very distinct viewpoints, Darren Manning.
Oh, yeah.
As ever.
Yeah, absolutely. You defend your man to the end of the earth, so...
It's a tough call, isn't it?
It is a very tough call.
When they came off turn 2, Paul Tracy was right to the outside. He pulled across to the inside. Which, what more can he do?
Maybe just a little bit late. That's the only thing. You know, maybe he could have dipped it. He could have got right to the white line. There was no, you know, he wasn't on the white line. But like Neil did say, you know, he hit him from behind. You know, you've got to sometimes give these guys. Trace Bourdais had been going around the outside of him, as we see some replays of some contact between the two of them.
Monterey earlier in the season, there is Paul Tracy right on the edge of the racetrack, and Sebastien Bourdais drives over the left front wheel of Paul Tracy, and again, you know, another incident of contact.
Toronto as well.
There you go, coming out of the pit lane in Toronto, wallop.
Yeah, these two definitely had their fair share of comings together for sure, and They're always blaming each other for sure.
They are indeed, and it's certainly a great show. You can see there, that was the incident in Toronto, and after that, Tracy was just doing a sensational job. He'd lost the whole left front part of that wing, and he was still running incredible laps out in the lead of the race until, amazingly, they ran him out of fuel.
Yeah, that was absolutely unbelievable for him to, you know, we do these fine changes, you know, a quarter of a turn out of the front wing. As we see AJ, he must have got himself topped up with fuel. But
I think he's got him towed himself back. He's got a tow around, but he's a long way back.
Three laps down, maybe?
Yeah, 3 or 4 laps down, show now in 15th place. So let's reset the field for you. We've got 132 laps complete, and we've got Bourdais out in front of Servia, Vassar, Dominguez and Tagliani for Team Australia, rounding out the top 5 with 33 laps to go here in Las Vegas. The yellow is being shown, so JD Wilbur there and Tony Cotman up in race control right next to us, not happy with that.
Was
restart.
A very bad restart, or a very good restart by Sebastian. You know, he started accelerating down the back straight there and tried to get a real jump, which he did. But
again, that's a transgression of the rules. The drivers know what the rules are. They're told very clearly in the drivers' meeting when they're supposed to accelerate coming after a restart. So
I think that was just a little bit too early by Sebastian, but and caught everybody by surprise.
So he's got to be a little bit careful here, otherwise he's going to get the rule book. He's going to get in charge.
Getting ready for the
a reminder of the acceleration point from the race director.
Here we go. They're starting to accelerate. There's no green flag yet, and goes green, green, green.
Green.
There is the
top
green
3
flag.
very close together. Jimmy Vassar closing up on the back of Oriel as well, so this is it. 3 wide. This is great racing.
And Oriel Servia using the push to pass in the middle there. We're on board with Oriel Servia. We're watching him from Jimmy Vassar. You can see the flashing red light of Oriel Servia finally using some of his
very close there by Bourdais, coming off the white line on the inside, nearly collecting his teammate. That wouldn't have been a very good way to
keep us at his close.
You can hear the spotters talking to each other. They were actually told before they got to this restart to work together to pull away from everybody else, but that's not what they're doing.
Do you call that working together?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. And Jimmy Vassar there in the catbird seat looking from behind, and right behind him now is Mario Dominguez. Alex Tagliani doing an excellent job for Team Australia in 5th place. Then Bjorn Verdheim and Rodolfo Lavin still on the lead lap. So we've got 7 cars in contention to win this motor race with just 26 laps to go, Darren Manning.
This is absolutely flat-out racing to the end here. You know, Bourdais going to stick to that white line as we see a replay of Bourdais just coming off the white line there. That was he knew that Servia was there. That was very, very close, very, very dangerous.
Thinking? What was he thinking?
Maybe
halfway down the back straight, he drove into the side of his teammate.
See another teammate. Another one interlocking wheels there with his teammate. That was, I'm sure, Oriel's very, very angry, looking over to the left there. There's such wheels there.
That is absolutely amazing. He's a championship leader, number 1. His primary rival is already out of the motor race. Oriel Servia filling in, of course, for the injured Bruno Junqueira. And then again, we should remind everybody that Bruno is doing great. He's making a really good recovery and hoping to make his return to the Champ Car World Series in the finale in Mexico City in about a month's time. But Oriel's doing a fabulous job, and they're pretty good buddies, Bourdais and Oriel Servia. But it wouldn't appear that way there, because you could quite clearly see that Bourdais moved up into the path, moved up into the side of Bourdais' car, halfway down the back straight. Amazing. But anyhow, no harm, no foul, I guess. And the first, they're still out in front, the 2 Newman House cars. There is Jimmy Vassar tucking in behind, and it's Mario Dominguez in 4th, Tagliani 5th, Verdheim an excellent 6th.
He's moved back up after that pretty poor pit stop. It looked like they moved him back down into about 15th place at the beginning of the race. So he was running up in 4th in front of Jimmy Vassar and just lost out a little bit. As we see, we're on board with Oriel, and Jimmy Vassar looks like he's got a run on him going around the outside into turn 3. You can't see him yet on the TV. But he's absolutely on his rear quarter. Probably going to tuck in underneath the rear wing, and he does.
And right behind these 2, Bjorn Verdheim just set the fastest lap of the race, 203.199 miles an hour, 26.575 seconds. So right now is Bjorn Verdheim gunning for that fastest lap bonus point that is in offer in every Champ Car World Series event.
Yeah, looking back here now on Jimmy Vassar, who's been working that outside corner of Oriel Servia's for the last couple of laps here.
And Oriel's got a good run up here. He's got a big tow from Bourdais, and he's drawing closer and closer as they come towards the start-finish line. And there they go now. That is 146 laps into the book. So 20 laps now to go.
Yeah, these three are starting to pull away. This is great for Vassar, who got dropped off the back of this lead pack of three when Tracy was in it earlier on in the race. So that yellow was just what he wanted, and his car looks pretty fast. He doesn't look to be able to keep it down quite as low as the Newman Haas cars, but he's able to keep in the draft and stay really close to these guys.
Vassar's got a lot of wins on the ovals, and of course amongst his three super speedway wins, two of them at Fontana in 98 and 02. The second of those races was won at an average speed of 197.995 miles an hour. At the time, that was the fastest motor race ever. Amazing. Well, fastest open wheel race ever, I should say. Before they changed the rules in NASCAR stock cars, they had some quicker races at Talladega, but an amazing feat. So Jimmy Vassar has a massive amount of experience, of course. He knows how to win on every single sort of racetrack. This is his 229th start for Jimmy Vassar. But it's been a long, long time since he scored his last win. The last win was at that race at Fontana in 02, 43 races ago. He's overdue, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's been around a while, as old Jimmy, but he won't like us calling him old, but he's definitely doing a good job tonight. He's just dropping a little bit off the pace, but he's still close enough to get a draft off these guys. As we see the pack that had all closed up, the last car on the lead lap is Rodolfo Lavine.
Yeah, Justin Wilson's done well lately. He's got himself now up into 8th place. He was well outside the top 10. He's got himself now.
He got one of his laps back
as a result of that caution coming out before he had to make a pit stop. So stroke of luck there for Justin. He's just actually lost the position to Timo Glock. So Glock now up into 8th place.
That's the battle that we're seeing now on TV, with Bjorn and Tagliani, Timo Glock, Justin, Lavine.
Yeah, there's a lap between those two, Lavine and Verdheim now up into 5th place ahead of Tagliani and Lavine.
Right there, yeah.
There you go.
Now we switch over to Jimmy on the back of Oriel.
Here we are back to that battle. There is Bjorn Verdheim on the right of the screen, and right behind him is Alex Tagliani. The battle for 5th and 6th places. That is the blue and white car, the second of the Forsyth entries of Mario Dominguez, now in 4th place, and you can see the gap from these three here to the three leaders, Sebastian Bourdais, Oriol Servia, and Jimmy Vassar. And again, Jimmy is close up a little bit. There's about, 8 or 10 car lengths between each of the first three cars. And then, about a second, 1.6 seconds back to Mario Dominguez in 4th place, and right tucked up behind Mario.
Yeah, this is 4th and 6th place here now. So this is a great little battle for the front three, and then the second three behind him. So this is what oval racing is all about. The last sprint to the end. Nearly 14 laps to go now. So this is when everybody really starts to push hard.
Nitty-gritty time, isn't it? And the fastest lap of the race so far set by Bjorn Verdheim. Second fastest lap by Rodolfo Lavine. Alex Tagliani, the 3rd fastest lap. Then Oriol Servia, 4th. Jimmy Vassar, 5th fastest lap. And Sebastian Bourdais, the 8th fastest lap. But Mario Dominguez only the 13th quickest lap, but just 0.3 of a second covering those 13 cars. It is close here in Las Vegas. 13 laps to go now. They come across the line one more time, and the gap between those top three just seems to be extending just a little bit, about 0.4 of a second, about 10-12 car lengths between the first and the second, and the second and third placed cars. And it's going to take a fair bit now for anybody to make a move. They're far enough apart that it's going to be hard to catch up. But they both have, all three of them have some push to pass left. Sebastian Bourdais and Oriol Servia both have 50 seconds worth of push to pass. We see that battle side by side now with Rodolfo Lavine and Bjorn Verdheim. And again, Verdheim just nosing ahead that time. It was Lavine who had his nose ahead at the start-finish line last time around. But going through turns 1 and 2, it's Rodolfo Lavine who has to tuck in behind Bjorn Verdheim. And it says this is a great battle. It's not over yet. There's 4 cars there. Dominguez, Tagliani, Lavine and Verdheim battling for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. They are the last cars on the lead lap. And then behind them is Timo Glock and Marcus Marshall and Ryan Hunter-Reay and Justin Wilson is shown now all of a sudden back in 11th place.
He's dropped way off the pace, dropped back down into 11th. 11th, way off the back.
Yeah, way off the pace. He was second and a half off last time round, so clearly some sort of a problem all of a sudden for Justin Wilson. What a shame. He'd done a super job to get himself well up inside the top 10. And Marcus Marshall, it's a call for young Marcus. He's having by far his best run in the Champ Cars, got himself up into 9th place now.
Beyond and Tag going side by side here. Tag getting moved up the track very, very wide there, coming off of turn 2 down the back straight, so they're still side by side.
Super battle between these four.
Had a bit of a look there on the outside, but thought better of it.
Great stuff between these four. This is the battle of the race at the moment. The first three, actually.
Oh, as we see
Bourdais is suddenly slowed going around turns 1 and 2, I think. Did he? Let's have a look. Oh, let's get back.
It did look like Bourdais, yes, absolutely.
Oh, maybe it was, sorry, I beg your pardon, it was a lap car.
Just coming
it was a lap car, I beg your pardon. False alarm.
It's a long way away from us.
It's awfully difficult, even under the lights here, and I say super view here from the grandstand.
It was Malcolm Marshall getting laps again. Jimmy Vassey's just getting dropped off the leaders here, the Newman Haas guys, showing their pace from the weekend. They've been a couple of mile an hour faster by themselves than everybody else, so looks like they've been saving up for the last 10 laps to go, 7 laps to go right now, but they've pulled away from Jimmy, and he's all on his own in 3rd place, and this huge battle with guys pushing the boost button and getting past back markers and each other, so this is a great little battle.
So Verdham has used all of his push to pass. Alex Tagliani has probably 2 pushes left actually. He's got 13 seconds, so maybe he just used 7 seconds and lifted off the throttle to use that. That's interesting.
Sure, yeah.
He's probably got 2 pushes to go. Levine has just 1 push of that push to pass button, so that battle is certainly far from over. There is Jimmy Vasser, a pretty lonely 3rd place now, as you say,
just watching him on
less than 5 laps to go.
Absolutely, just watching him here come through the corners, just watch how much steering input he's trying to get on the car, and he's still not down by the white line, which is the shortest and fastest way around this track if you've not got any understeer, which it looks like Jimmy's kind of struggling with just a little bit.
The Newman Haas team telling Sebastian Oriol to work together and pull away. Well, they've done that very effectively now, and as they come across the line to complete lap 162, 4 laps to go. That time around the relative lap times, 26.778 for the race leader Bourdais, 26.734, so just 0.04 of a second between those two. He looks a little bit closer than he was a couple of laps ago. He's still got a lot of work to do, has Oriol Serbia, who's going to get that 2nd consecutive win here in the Champ Car World Series. It was oh so sweet for him in Montreal 3 weeks ago. Oriol Serbia, the likeable Catalonian from Barcelona, makes his home now in Miami, Florida, and
as we
he's
get
head-to-head now with Sebastian
pushing a little bit of push to pass to try and get around the outside of Tagliani for that 6th place, and he looks like he's got it. The leaders have got past Justin Wilson. It sounds like he's got a little bit of a sick motor maybe, or maybe stuck in a gear. Long way off.
2 laps to go now, and they're both using a push to pass. They're inside the final 2 laps. We're going to see they're using all the push to pass now in his final 2 laps. There's all to go. Bourdais certainly lost a little bit of ground. He's on it again now. Look at that flashy light. Oriol's taking.
I'm sure Oriol's just not using his, which he isn't, and just staying in the draft and getting sucked along. Now he's using it as we got the white flag to go. Last lap.
JD Wilbur waves the white flag. It's the Newman Haas cars as it was 1 year ago when Bourdais and Junqueira were side by side for the last 15 or 20 laps.
Now they're not very, very wide. He got right underneath the rear wing, too fast into turn 2, and just understeered. They're using all their push to pass. See if Oriol's got anything coming up. He looks like he's maybe just a little bit too far back.
He is, and I think it's going to be Sebastian Bourdais. There are the double checkered flags, and it is going to be Sebastian Bourdais who wins. Carl and Bernie Haas. Here's a battle though between Levine on the outside and Verdham on the inside, and he just gets his nose ahead. That was for 5th place. So Bourdais, Serbia, Jimmy Vasser, a relatively lonely 3rd. Mario Dominguez in 4th. And there goes a thumbs up from a gracious loser, Oriol Serbia. But I wonder how happy he's going to be when he gets out of that car, when he reflects on that incident on the back straight about, what, 25, 30 laps ago.
I'm sure he'll be happy he won.
Oh, no, it's Oriol, I mean.
Oh, Oriol, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was probably very angry with his teammate there. But that was probably one of the opportunities.
Win number 5 this season for Sebastian Bourdais, and it makes that 2nd consecutive championship looking very, very good for this very talented Frenchman.